Hello, Cece.
Hello, Madi.
It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
We've been knowing each other for a while now, and we met at the Josh McCartney workshop.
Yes.
And everything changed for you.
Yes.
Like it's been a few months, not even a year ago.
It was back in May 2025. Yeah. What are we, Feb now?
Yeah.
End of Feb?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And then, so long story short, you basically skyrocket. It's just something incredible that's happening to you. Then from this workshop, but because you transformed it to something concrete, you created your own personal branding brand, your company, like you just put the entire Dubai upside down. So I wanted to say congratulations for that first.
Thank you so much, Maddie. It really means a lot.
And then I have millions of questions.
Yes, please go ahead.
Because you are now basically the specialist of personal branding. And then first, if you want to introduce yourself, and then I have obviously my first question.
Yes, definitely. First, I want to say how honored I am for you to have me here today. It really means the world coming from yourself, the Coco Madi.
The Coco Madi.
Yes. So, yes, thank you for having me. And the journey of Cece, that's how I call it. It's been now 2 years since I moved to Dubai. And coming to Dubai, I never thought that I would go into personal branding or I would even start my page. But then I had this calling that was bigger than me, that I wanted to help others feel less alone in Dubai, because for the first year, I felt completely alone and I didn't know where to go, who to talk to. And I would hear a lot of things about Dubai being superficial, even the connections that you would make. People are there just to make money and then they go back to their countries or move somewhere else, right? How was it for you? I mean, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, well, it's everything or nothing. Or you can find like an entrance door to make new friends and to meet people, and then it's a domino game.
Yeah.
Or it's very complicated, and many people actually who are leaving Dubai are also leaving because they don't find a way to make new connections. So it's can be tricky.
Yeah, so you understand that it's very difficult. So now I think back in October, I started my community where we organize events for expats. It can be any age, any nationality. We just come together. We went on the yacht together back in November, I believe. And yeah, it's just having fun time and meaningful connection, something that's really needed for people coming here and they don't know anyone or they're far from their families. And also the personal branding aspect. I started my business in personal branding because for me it was very hard for a long time to be confident behind the camera. And so I just felt like helping people reach that confidence by having that support that I wish I had. So yeah, now that's what I do along with my team, my amazing team, where we do social media management, and we just really help someone that has a project but doesn't know how to execute it. We help them execute it from A to Z. So
I think the personal branding is one of the biggest questions for the entrepreneurs who want to put their face out there.
Yes.
Just because we are not comfortable in front of the camera, and people keep telling me like, but you are so comfortable and everything. I am not. I have so many things happening in my head every time I am in front of a camera. It's just you get used to it, and you don't need to love yourself or to just be okay with what you look like. It's just to dissociate basically yourself from your brand. So how would you define the personal branding? Because nowadays we hear everything and nothing about personal branding. It means everything. So.
Yes, it's just something that we keep hearing, but a lot of people don't know what it truly means. So thank you for bringing this up, Maddie. I believe that, just like you said, it's not only about showing up. A lot of people just think, hey, I'm going to start my social media account and I'm going to start posting every day and that's it. This is my personal brand. But personal brand means much more than that. It's your personal touch, your signature, and how you can differentiate yourself from anybody else. And how does that start? By yourself, meaning that no one has your story. So it all comes back to being comfortable sharing your story online so people better understand you. And then once they do, they're able to resonate with a part of your story. And this is what you're creating you're opening a box in their mind and you're filling it up with information so that they always think about you on the daily. When, for example, they see the Burj Khalifa, they think, oh, Cece, she not only took a picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, she opened up about her move to Dubai, and I related to that when she did. So it's really about creating that little box that's living in your audience's heads about you.
Can I take some notes? This is just like, it's been 2 minutes, you know, I'm already like drinking your word. It's insane. My God, that is so, like, the storytelling thing you are talking about makes so much sense for me, particularly, because to be transparent with you, I struggle so much talking about my past. And people I work with keep telling me, like, you have to talk about your journey because this is the reason why you are where you are now. And if you want to inspire people, you have to tell them, like, where you come from, you know?
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, but, you know, my background is photography. People don't know, like, how far you can go with photography, you know? And so I'm a bit scared about that, but at the end of the day, this is so true. You have to share your journey. It's just, and I love what you said, like, just to be linked to some specific, like, you talked about the Burj Khalifa, but it can be anything else, like even your personality or a joke or a word you keep saying, like, or a look, I guess, like, and every time they're going to see this or hear this, oh my God, it reminds me this girl I saw on Instagram.
On Instagram, exactly, because people's brains are like sponges. We talk a lot about kids having the brain of a sponge, but also it works on adults, and we are what we consume on social media. So the more that you push a narrative about yourself, the more people remember it. Yeah, so they can't remember anything if you're not sharing anything about yourself. And I absolutely can understand what you're saying, because for a long time it was so hard for me to open up about everything that I was carrying, because it is scary. And if you're still processing some painful events, it's not easy. So I do believe that personal branding is linked to self-development. So there's also kind of a work that needs to be done before you start yourself on socials, like to make some peace, even if it's not 100%, with part of your story.
How do you deal with haters? It was not in the script, but now I just want to know this question. Like, if you do have some, because you are the most adorable person I see out there. So I'm not sure you even have haters, but
I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
What kind of thing could they do? I mean, it's just there was nothing to say.
Oh, you're so sweet. I mean, people always have something to say, right? And for me, one of my biggest inspiration is Mel Robbins, that you, of course, know about. And I read her book, Let Them.
Yeah.
So ever since I read that book, whenever I'm receiving a negative comment, I'm like, let them. It's not reaching to me. It's something that's outside of me. You know, it doesn't reach me because I'm, you know, already at another stage in my life, and that person commenting a negative comment is at another stage as well. So it's like I'm coming to peace and acceptance that they choose to come from a place of hate and I choose to come from a place of love. So it's really about your response more than them, you know. And also understanding, like, my power really helped me protect myself. You create that shield around you. Now, I'm not saying that it's always easy receiving a comment. Sometimes it's about my voice or the fact that I'm young. You know, I'm 25 and doing... I'm 25 and...
No comments.
And I sometimes even forget my age because I'm so in the grind mode. But yeah, again, it's... whenever it does affect me, I take a step back and I just ground myself again. I write down, okay, like, who am I and what am I doing and why am I doing it? When you understand the big why behind why you do everything that you do, then that takes so much more space than that negative comment. You see, so when I'm able to help, for example, an expat go to their first meetup in Dubai, or someone that wants to invest in their first property in Dubai and they're living in Canada, 14 hours flight away, for me, that's worth much more than someone, because again, it's not about me. It's really about, I'm the messenger, I'm spreading the impact. That's, yeah.
I love that. I struggle a lot with haters, especially when it's not about what I'm saying, you know, like it's about your face, it's about what you look like, it's about your voice, it's about all these things. I struggled a lot. Like I spend days crying. We don't talk about that on social media.
No.
And it's just, you keep smiling and then you go back on track, you know? But it's just something like there is a moment, and I don't know if it's what happened to you, but when you suddenly switch and just don't care anymore.
Yes.
Like you used to see the same shit all the time, and it's just like, okay, you know, just another one. And it's just, it's not even under my control or under your control. It's just like suddenly you switch and you just
like
accept
next.
it. Yeah. It's just, so it's just for those out there who are scared of all these things. Yes, it's going to happen. You're going to have haters. It's just like part of the game.
Yeah.
But there is a moment when you just don't care anymore. And it's you get stronger, actually.
Definitely.
So it's just very interesting.
I admire that, Marie. And thank you for your transparency as well, you know, because
to get back to the personal branding, there is always something that people struggle with. Like you were talking about authenticity, which is, I think, the most important thing. But sometimes we, for example, don't come from the same background than the type of clients we want to attract.
Yes.
Should we play a role? Should we pretend to be someone we are not? And I mean, we know some people in their industry who are like, they have their public face, let's say, and then their daily personality, you know? So it's something that you would say like, why not? Or like, no, because natural is going to come back even heavier. What do you think about that?
Can you give me like an example, for example?
Like, for example, you want to reach, you know, like I work in the luxury industry. I want to reach that type of client. So maybe I'm going to change the way I behave. I'm going to change my outfit. I'm going to change, like, I'm going to communicate only on luxury things. And I know, like, so many of my clients, they are actually very scared about that because this is not their life. So basically, do you need to pretend to be like your target? Or just, like, stick to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's such a great question. I think that you should always stick to your brand identity first and being authentic to yourself. And okay, who is my target audience? But then again, like you attract, right? So you need to come up with your branding, stick to it. And of course it can evolve. You know, when you look at the history of time, so many brands, they evolve their brandings, adapting to the time and the trends and everything. But now for the time being, I always say you have your brand and then you can adapt yourself to the client in a way that you are like a chameleon. Mm-hmm. So, for example, this is what we do. For example, if we have real estate, then we will not push our branding onto the real estate agent. We're going to spend time, the first introductory session, and ask the right questions. And then coming up with those personalized questions, we're going to think of a branding, and then we're going to adapt it to that real estate agent. Same thing. We have a breathwork guide. We're going to have that first session where we extract their story, and then we're going to come up with something that's personalized. So I would say that you don't ever have to change your agency or yourself to adapt to someone else. But when it comes to the content that you create, for example, as a social media agency, then of course, yes, it has to be curated for each. It cannot be the same for all.
I'm always curious because I keep talking about personal branding with my clients, for example, and they are always scared, saying like, "But I don't come from this background. If I start sharing my face and showing my face, maybe people won't see themselves in me because I don't live in the same world." So it's always a big question to say like, do I have to adapt myself to pretend to be someone, or to just create a character on purpose just to fit? Like with the type of clientele I want to attract? Or would you say like, no, just stay yourself, because at the end of the day, what's natural will always come up?
I think it's a two-way street. So for example, if you take a real estate agent that's dealing with someone that's looking for a villa and they're a family, I always think that I advise the person to adapt themselves, of course, to the client's needs and to listen. This is the main key. But then as an agent, you have a set of characteristics, you have a set of experience that this you cannot change. So it's a two-way street in a way that you listen and then, okay, you go, you do your research and you come back and you adapt the offer based on this. Like you cannot just push down your way onto a client.
So for the personal branding side, for example, this real estate agent
Yes.
would know that he will focus on families.
Yes.
So he maybe can go more like sharing about kids and like the way he communicates, maybe showing a bit about his family or things like that, right?
Exactly,
This is what you mean?
To show, yes, some parts of you. Because a lot of the time people are focused more on the products or the services. But then again, yes, there's also yourself. You have plenty of assets within yourself that you can showcase. So it's all about you becoming comfortable, sharing and expressing that to the client. And the better the client understands you, the better they will want to work with you. Because at the end of the day, we have a pool full of real estate agents, right? Especially in Dubai.
Yeah.
So a lot of choices, but why someone wants to work with you? So you give them that reason. And how? By opening up and sharing a bit more about yourself so that they can relate. And then you just start within the conversation becoming magnets to each other.
Because they see themselves in you,
Yes.
basically. Like you share the same values and that type of things.
Yeah.
So even if you basically don't have a luxury life, you can just share, like, go to a very, like, 5-star hotel just to get a coffee and you're going to share that. But of course, when you're going to go to McDonald's, you're not going to share that. So
Yeah.
it's about being selective
Yes.
in your own life and to share what could fit with the perfect client. Right?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
100%.
This question happens a lot in the Middle East, which is, do I need to show my face? Or can I share like the back of my hair or just like my silhouette? Or I have some clients, especially in the Middle East, women, they just want to share their hands and things like that. Do you think there is a way to do personal branding and to work with that in mind, but without the face itself? Or it's like, okay, it's going to make everything more complicated?
Love that. I think that yes, because that itself is a branding, and there's always an audience for that. So, and every time you go on social media, you're representing people. So, for example, this woman, let's say she's an Emirati woman, she's representing other Emirati women, or even just, Muslim women that are not comfortable sharing about their faces online. So, absolutely. And you can work on a branding on anyone and anything. And there's a lot of misconception about personal branding. And okay, is my story interesting enough? Or is my face attractive enough? Or my hands attractive enough? Again, it's not about just showing it. It's about creating a narrative around it. And through that, people are going to recognize themselves and they will want to follow you because, one, they see themselves in you, and maybe they've never seen themselves in anybody else.
And it's about doing it again and again and again and again.
Yes.
Then it starts being your signature, basically, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just something that I find fascinating with personal branding is when you keep repeating the same thing again and again, when you keep showing off and you keep sharing the same thing again and again, you start being that girl with the black dress and the blonde hair and who looks like Karl Lagerfeld. I've heard that so many times. But anyway, I take it. Not bad.
And we love that.
Well,
and that's
so
why
many
people,
times.
People follow you not only because, okay, you remind them of Karl Lagerfeld, but because of everything that makes who you are and the branding that you create around yourself, like Coco, Madik.
My dog.
Yeah,
it's just,
I love that.
I think I could put a picture of me and just my back with my bow and my black dress, and you're like, this is Maddie.
Yes. And
like I'm a
I-
rock star. I love it.
Yeah. And when I think of Chanel, I think about you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I love it.
Because you did that.
Is it recording?
It is.
That's so cool. I take it. Thank you.
Yes.
Like Karl Lagerfeld, Chanel, not bad.
Yes.
You know?
You got a lot going on.
And it's actually my next question, which is, what makes a personal branding recognizable? We always obviously talk about the look, about the fact that you do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
But for example, you change your outfit all the time. You have different outfits all the time. But when we see you, we immediately know it's you.
Yes.
So what are different ways for someone to be recognizable? It's very complicated for me to say this word.
Yes.
And then to have like this signature personal branding.
Yes. I would say that it's sometimes it's the way you speak some words that you keep repeating. For example, someone told me this recently. Whenever I'm starting my video, I'm like, guys, So people started saying, "Oh, okay, I know it's Cece. Yeah, she's gonna tell us something. She's gonna announce something." Then brand colors. This is so important. So, for example, when I started our meetups, I defined my brand colors because before they weren't defined. So we have like a red, blue, and yellow, and white. And during our events, we distributed some stickers and some tote bags with these colors, and then they followed us through the events. So whenever I'm announcing an event online, people know. It can be just a teaser with the colors. They know the event is coming. Then, of course, for example, around your username, sometimes people, they underestimate the impact that it can have. So for example, Cece in Dubai, I did it on purpose because of Emily in Paris. So
we have the Dubai version.
The Dubai version. It's a little cliche.
I love it. Much more practical.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, even the logo is so important. So when you look at my logo, you see the Canadian flag on the left side, and then you see a plane, and then the Burj Khalifa on the right, representing, my expatriation. So for anyone that's moving from Canada or anywhere else in the world, they can already have a glimpse of my story in my logo.
What I hear a lot when I'm listening to you is repetition.
Yeah.
The fact that basically hey guys, but when you hear it once, it's just like, okay. When you hear it like 10 times, it starts being a signature. For me, it's also like your makeup. Yes. This is something like so you, and when we see it, we immediately know it's you. Yeah, the liner this way, it's just like so you, And so like you talked about colors and the branding in general, it's repetition again and again and again and again. This is why like when you decide to change your branding, you have to stick to it for a long time for it to start being like in 1 second we know it's you. Like it can be the color of your logo, the color of your outfit if you decide to go this way, or like the color of your background or things like that. Once you decide, just stick to it. Yeah. And I don't know if you feel it sometimes when you work with entrepreneurs, but many entrepreneurs, they go in a direction and then it doesn't work immediately. So they switch to something else.
Yes.
And then, it doesn't work neither. Let's go back to the first one. And then nothing works because they don't keep it long enough.
Yes,
like it's
consistent.
Just consistency.
Yeah, there's this actually is a good point, and it makes me think of a concept by Seth Godin, and I shared it during my keynote. It's like a graph, so you have the efforts and the results, and I'm sure you've seen it probably. So normally when people start their social media, they're going to be really motivated. They're going to post every day. They're going to have a lot of ideas, and then after a while, they're not getting enough results. So 70 to 80% normally they stop at this point, just like you're saying. And only 20 to 30% they actually continue past that dip and they make it to success. So this is a very common element. And even when I'm speaking to my clients, they get discouraged because we all have our lives. And it's not our duty to be social media experts, and we have so much going on. So I think opening up yourself to people, mentors that have paved the way, that can, bring a weight off of your shoulders if your goal is to grow your project, because you can't be an expert at everything.
This is, for me, to be transparent with you, this is the story of Coco Spark. Yeah. Like we skyrocketed from one day to the other. We were so excited. We created content. We just like invested. And then the race started to be like a marathon, Then this is when, honestly, I talked with the team and I was like, I'm not sure I want to continue. It was so overwhelming for nothing. And then I have this sentence I keep saying, which is like, it's in the hardest moments, then you see the difference between winners and losers. And I always refuse to, when I invested a lot in something, I always refuse to give up. This is the same story with Dubai. I went to Dubai, worked so hard, nothing happened. And all my friends kept saying me like, stop it, like you spend so much money. This is actually the reason why I cannot give up, Yeah. It's just like, and then 7 years later, I'm still there. Yeah. So it's just repetition, consistency, and to do it again and again and again and again. And when it starts being hard, it's actually when the rest of the market is going out of the game.
100%.
Yeah. So it's
yeah, this is a good point you're saying about, it goes back to working in a smarter way. And this is something that I'm, getting myself used to more and more, because also whenever you're moving from another country, like we put so much weight on ourselves to perform and succeed and in a short amount of time to make it. And especially in Dubai, like we all feel that, you know, entrepreneurial pressure to, you know, be at the best of our versions. But I can relate to what you're saying about just feeling like you're like a hamster basically on a wheel, and yes, you're working so hard, but it's not leading you to where you're supposed to be. So I always say that it's good to have a bit of a plan, or if it's not clear for you, then bringing someone that can clear that out for you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I had an interview with an amazing guy. I'm not going to say anything yet. But he's been in the industry for like more than 20 years in Dubai. And we just said that, like, it's a long run. We are surrounded on social media by very successful people telling you, like, basically, oh, last year I worked in my cave with just a computer and now I have billions and everything. Bullshit. The reality is, potentially these stories are like 0.00001%, but the reality is people work hard and during a very long amount of time. So it doesn't arrive overnight.
So true.
It's just needs time, consistency, and especially when you share your face, to get back to the personal branding thing, it can be so, like, not boring, but so exhausting, like to keep showing off and to be like, hey, you know, like smiling and everything, when you know that it's the hardest moment of the trip. So it's just definitely a huge work on you. We were talking about Coco Chanel.
Yes,
I love her.
prestigious.
She's my icon, and it's actually very interesting because we think that personal branding is something pretty new. That is completely wrong. They started this game ages ago. Like, when you think about it, and when people say like, yeah, but you know, luxury brands, they don't do personal branding. This is the full opposite. It's just like, how would you say that the personal branding evolved through the years in general, and how people actually, now we have social media, it's completely different. But do you think we can build a strong brand like Coco Chanel, showing your face and having a name, and like nowadays it's still possible?
Yes, if it's possible to have like
to create something as big as a Coco Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, you know?
I think so. Nowadays, it's becoming harder to make it as a luxury brand as big as the Chanel, Dior, Dolce & Gabbana, because of the accessibility of the information that we didn't have before. So now everyone's on social media and there's just so much competition. So you got to work so much harder to make it as a brand first, and then goes to the luxury brand where people really adopt you and they just relate to you, they recognize you everywhere they go, you have shops all over the world. So it's becoming harder than before.
So it's interesting because what you're saying is basically it's easier because we have more platforms and it's more accessible. But at the end of the day, it makes it more easy to have competition. Like we have more competition because it's easy to do. So it's like, you know, like a brain crazy thing. Like a long time ago was more difficult to access the public, basically.
Yes, exactly. And I also am thinking of something at the moment. All of these big brands that we know about, we are still consumers of them. So it's not like we gave up or they're not relevant anymore or they expired. They're forever in time.
Timeless thing,
Exactly, they're timeless. So since we still adopt and still see them with, you know, big eyes and we consume them with all of our hearts, I think this is what makes it difficult for anybody else that tries to measure, because there's always going to be but they are trying to copy Chanel. These were the real trendsetters. I believe. This is my take. I want to hear your...
I love what you said. Like you said, we said together, like the word timeless, which is when you are in luxury, one of the most complicated thing. And in general, like as an entrepreneur, one of the most complicated thing to do, by the fact that we are pushed by trends, even in the luxury market. And now we have AI entering the game. So like so many things we are working now on, maybe in 5 years won't exist anymore or won't be needed anymore. Because like you can have it much quicker using AI. So the game is continuously challenged all the time. So to create something as timeless as like Chanel or something that has a story, it means you have to play on the level when it's not about trends and it's not something that is related to technology or like that could be done cheaper or like price compared. So it means you have to create something that is unique and it cannot be replicated, and it's not, as we said, linked to a trend, basically.
Absolutely.
This is when authenticity and personal branding makes so much sense, because you are not duplicable.
Exactly, because you also make yourself, you differentiate yourself, so people go to you for that reason.
For you,
Yeah, why people choose to go to Chanel and not Dior. You know, they're all luxury brands, but because they all have their touch.
Yeah.
Which is why, and they all have their stories as well.
Like, I think this is the best example. Like, all these brands, at the end of the day, it's a name for most of them, and it's a story.
Yeah.
So it works for every market, but if you want something that lasts, it has to be like even more linked to a face. And we keep having movies about Coco Chanel, for example. So it's how strong she was. Like, even if she's not there anymore, the brand actually lasts. So it's timeless thing is definitely something that is so interesting if you want a play in a long race, long run. For the personal branding, it's a lot. We could talk about that during hours. But sometimes, even myself, before posting, I'm like, I'm not sure. Should I post that? Shouldn't I post that? And then on the other side, I see some competitors who only have like curated pictures of them, even on the stories, like everything is perfect. They don't do anything with their phones. Even the pictures on the stories are done with a professional camera. And you're like, I have a life, so I don't know how they deal with that, how they do that all the time. And on the other side, I see other competitors that are super spontaneous, especially for stories, and just taking random shots of them and showing like even low cost thing they work with or whatever, And you're like, oh my God, like the link with the client is not made, but it still works.
Yes.
So is there like in the end a good way or a bad way to do things? Is there like some typical mistakes that shouldn't be done with personal branding? Like if you had to do like the top 3 mistakes things not to do about personal branding?
I would say the first one, and this is something that I struggled with a little bit when I first launched my personal branding agency, it's to confuse high prices with luxury.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I thought that, just showing my offer, I have these 3 packages, like you have silver, gold, and platinum, and then I would just boost the prices. And when I'm presenting to the client, they would just feel that it's premium and luxury. But that's not true, because a high price doesn't guarantee that. And there's also a lot of work that needs to be done yourself, because you set the luxury first. It's not that piece of paper. It's not using AI that's going to help you do that. So what I did is, I looked at my pricing. Before, I used to underprice myself a lot because I didn't know my worth. That's one thing. Now, second thing, I started understanding, like the tables were turning in my head that, you know what, I know my worth. I know the quality of my work. And yes, people can work with other personal branding agencies, but they cannot work with me, right? And the whole purpose of why I started this is because I struggled with this first. So, this is my touch. I put a pricing like in the middle range, not like too high and not too low. So somewhere in the middle. And automatically when I started pitching to the clients, because I was focusing more on the value rather than my services, that changed everything. And the way that it was perceived by the client, still I got the client to feel that it was exclusive because of how confident I was while doing my pitch. And I was still getting someone who's not cheap, someone who's willing to do the investment on themselves and not just for a one-time thing, but really wants to stay and build, together. So this is the number one, to not confuse making a lot of money and, sounding luxurious with something that's, with high prices. The second thing would be not showing who you are, not opening up, because you can make it, but nowadays consumers are smarter and they want to know who they're buying from because they have so many options. So, which is why if you want for people to come to you more, you need to start telling a bit more about yourself. So, for example, myself, I started opening more about my journey in Dubai, or even my real estate journey, meaning that I had to find an apartment to live here. I had to do my visa, you know, so many things that other people can relate to. So that's the second one. And show vulnerability, because a lot of people are afraid to show that because they could be perceived as weak. And this is not actually false, because the wrong people that are not made for you will perceive it as weak. But then again, what's your goal? The big why you're doing everything. If you're targeting certain people, then you should just stick to that. And yes, open up, be a bit more vulnerable by sharing pieces of your story, like you were telling me that you received a negative comment and it made you cry for days. I'm sure other people they face bullying or cyber bullying as well. They could relate. The third thing would be not posting just to post, meaning to be intentional behind the post, but at the same time, do not let your perfectionism side get to you. I know it's super hard, which is why it's always good to bring in somebody else for a second opinion, someone who's in that field, that can tell you, okay, Maddie, we can do it a bit differently, but we're good. You can post that.
Let's do it. It's always a question I had when I see like some people in their industry sharing like 2, 3, 4 videos, but not random videos with the phone, and just like very curated, perfect, well-edited videos, and like minimum 1 per day. And you're like, guys, you basically spend your time doing that. You know what? I have clients. There is a moment it's great to attract people, but then what, you know? So it's just fascinating for me. Like we spend so much time creating content, and then it's still not enough, you know? It's just like when you see out there all the competition about that, it's insane, and people pushing the bar
higher and higher
all the time, and you are like, really? Like I think about a French influencer. She's in finance, Rachel Finance. I don't know if you know her. I love her. She's amazing, but she produced so much content.
Is it her though?
Well, she's the one in front of the camera, so at least she has to film it, you know.
Okay.
But of course, she has like people editing and etc. But it's just like you have to script the video. It takes so much time.
Yeah, I get
and I was like, what else can you do? What else can you say? Like you said everything already 10 times, you know. But but the way you say it differently, and some people will understand better in this way. God, it's a lot. It's
a lot
overwhelming.
Yeah. Completely.
But at the end of the day, it's better to do like 3 per week, well done, than to try to do a lot. And it's quality versus quantity in any case.
Exactly. It's not about how many you post, but it's, like you said, the quality. And another thing about the mistakes is comparison. So it's hard, but try not to compare yourself with other creators, because reality, and it's becoming more of a trend, that micro influencers are actually getting more traction than macro.
I've heard about that, It's a crazy story.
You can have 1 million followers, but then you have followers, you don't have a community. Like, people, are they waiting for your content? I always say that if you're doing a great job with your branding, people are literally there waiting with their popcorn for you to share. Yay, they shared content. You know, it needs to be this reaction.
This is true.
It's just, you have people. And they're not interacting, they're not engaging. So, for example, micro influencers are doing so much better at some times, and some brands prefer working with micro because of that traction and that community feel that they're getting.
It's much so I don't need to share 3 times per day, right?
No, you don't need to.
We can stop that now.
Yeah, we can. And it doesn't have to be always the perfect looking content. I swear, like, once I posted a video, I was in my Christmas pajamas at home writing, and I got so many engagement from it.
Oh, this is something I do. As a photographer, this is something like all the photographers on earth can relate. This is so frustrating. Because we basically share our beautiful pictures. We spend like 2 hours to edit, and the background has a light, and everything is amazing, and you have like 10 likes. And then, as you said, you share like very shitty picture of you like drinking a coffee and everything, and like 1,000 likes and comments and everything, like really, that it means everything. It means that people are so used to see beautiful professional pictures that what they are attracted by is actually like real people. So this is why it's much and much important, more and more important, to put your face out there.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's just and when you start showing your face out there, you are a content creator.
Yeah, exactly.
This is welcome to the trap.
Parts of your story that helps you.
Definitely, but it's so interesting, and I could mirroring this to my own stories so many times, like trying to be perfect all the time, trying not like to have one hair not in the right direction and to say the good words. But then I realized that actually people, what they like from me is the fact that I'm accessible, I'm simple, I come from a very simple background. I have my humor, you will like it or you don't.
I love it. It's one of the things I love most about you.
The fact that you can come from a very humble background and still reach this luxury world means like everybody can do it, basically. Yes. So it's just possible.
Just an FYI, like for me, your branding has succeeded.
Oh.
Yes, because I associate, like I said earlier, Coco Chanel, and you fit the profile, like you're always in black and white. I know you do it on purpose.
I actually don't.
Or you don't?
You know the story of my personal branding? It's just, maybe some people are going to be like, what? But I hate doing shopping. I know I'm an info, I'm just like an extraterrestrial, but I hate doing shopping. I don't have time for that. It's just overwhelming for me. Make it simple. So one day I said, okay, now I'm done. Just go black and make my life easy, So I just bought black outfits and black dresses and started to wear only black all the time. My hair are a nightmare. You cannot do anything with my hair. So I just attach them, just put a bow. It's cute, some spray, done. And then step by step, as I was always doing the same thing, people were like, I love your signature look. And I was like, what are you talking about?
I love it. It's like accidental.
Completely. But this is how real things happen in a way, just be yourself.
So authentic.
And I know this photographer as well. She's always perfect, always so fashion and everything. And I was like, I cannot do that. Like, this is not something I like. And even if I want to pretend, I cannot do that in the long run.
Yeah.
And this is what we were talking about. Like, at the end of the day, who you are and the way you are is always going to show up at the moment or another. You cannot pretend in a long-term strategy.
No, and people are going to feel it if you're being fake. And I've seen online some creators, you see that they're just copying off other people. And for me, it's like a mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is not for me. And authenticity.
Fake. Yeah. It's fake from the beginning, and so you don't even go further.
No.
It's
and
just,
there's no trust. Trust is so important. And again, people underestimate how does trust come to life in people's minds is, again, when you're showing yourself and you're sharing about yourself. And I really want to challenge you, Maddie.
I know her, so I'm a bit scared. But okay,
I want
go
to
ahead.
challenge you to just share one thing that you haven't shared on your social media with your audience and just see the reaction. It can be a story. It can be just a picture of you with the laptop and you write something. That's it.
Like something more personal and more less under control.
Yes. And I don't want you to think twice about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's super hard. Look, I went from literally shaking in front of the camera and putting a filter on my face.
Well, I think we all do.
Yeah. And again, it's fine if people want to put a filter, but I mean...
And now look at you. You were on stage a few weeks ago in front of 300 people.
Yeah, it's...
Like a normal Monday,
Exactly. Instead of coffee, I'll just go on stage today.
Yeah. I don't have time. We'll just take the bus quickly. So everything is possible. So I think you are the best example, maybe especially for women who are a bit less comfortable and more criticized as well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But just that it's not because you are shy today that you're not going to change tomorrow. So it's possible. It's not like, but that is not my thing, but it can become your thing, actually.
Exactly.
Like it's possible to change this mindset. So you are definitely like the best example of it. And you have the entire life in front of you. She's only 25. Just saying. So like, I really wish you the very best. I can't wait to see the tomorrow's Cece and in 5 years Cece and in 10 years Cece. It's going to be like, she's the future president, of I don't know which country. Because we come from all over the world. Yeah. But I can't wait to see the future. And guys, just what she said is amazing. Like, it's just don't be scared to go out there, because it's going to be your way to be different. Yes. And what you sell, potentially your service or your product, can be duplicable.
Yes.
But you cannot be duplicable.
Exactly. So it's always, you are your biggest asset. And remember that practice makes progress and not perfect. So just keep showing up every day and you will reach that level of being more comfortable. Like, it's like you're breaking down barriers in your head day by day, even if you don't feel it just yet, even if you feel like it's useless, no one's listening to you because there's just already so many creators. I always say you are responsible for the space that you create, no matter how saturated the market is. There's always a space for you because you create it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I always say, like, the coffee market was saturated and Nespresso came in the market. So everything is possible,
Voilà.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maddie.
It was a pleasure.
I feel very honored to be here on your podcast.
Well, the honor is mine. Like, I was like, I wanted to take some minutes, but I recorded, so we're good. Thank you so much for being there. It was a pleasure. Yes. I see you very soon for the next interview. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Thank you again, and I wish you a beautiful day.